wrangling people and headhunting people, get them to show up with their teams.
It's sort of like when they did the challenge pit raid, but everybody cared about the rewards for the challenge pit raid. And as we were talking about earlier, like people don't care as much for the R9 rewards right now in terms of the overall population.
I mean, yeah, I guess the problem with Challenge Pit was that everyone had to like clock at the same time. So I was gonna say like at least Challenge Pit lasted 2 days, but yeah, with the old like everyone has to score at the same time mechanics, that was still pretty brutal. I don't know. To some degree, I think CG does kind of like that guild shakeup aspect because in my experience, guilds are kind of at their worst when everyone has different interests, and especially those interests can start to conflict. You talk about like half the guild wants to work on PvP counters and stuff, and then half the guild is like, all right, we're gonna work on our Dooku's for TB, right? We're gonna work on our, our dudes back when like they weren't requirements or anything. Like, it's not really helping me in GAC or TW. I don't, like, not really too interested in Dooku for the time being. Thanks for your offer though. Like, I don't know. It feels like there is kind of we're kind of due for that annual shakeup, and I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
because people spend money. Like, people will spend money, or you can say resources. They're gonna, maybe you're in a lower guild and you really want a chance of these R9s. You're gonna spend a little more resources, maybe some crystals and stuff, where you wouldn't, just to try to look better, for to apply to a guild. At the same time, if you're in a guild, like say, one of our guilds, if you're in Vanguard, if you're in Wolfpack, and maybe you're the 45th to 50th smallest guy, you're not pulling your weight very much, and all of a sudden, you get kind of like an ultimatum. You're going to start dropping extra resources too, just so you can stay in the guild. So that there's, they make a lot of money from these guild shakeups, a lot of money. So it's unfortunate, but we get them once a year, twice a year sometimes, and we've survived them all, right? We've survived them all. I think the player base is getting a little better. We've aged, we've learned. Like, just because something new comes out, we don't need to panic like we used to. Like when the tank raid came out, that was awful. There were people just dumping guilds, like communities were disbanding. It was crazy. I think we've gotten a little better, got a little more experienced with it as a community. So who knows? I don't know. I don't even know what I'm really saying anymore. So
No, I think I agree with you. Like, to some degree, like if your guild is hoping to like post a harder defense, you need to make sure that like those new fresh meta counters that like needs those new characters, potentially probably at like a high gear or relic level, is like, if you don't have 50 people who have that like ready on lock, then suddenly you're in this weird spot of like, are you just calling like a half and half strat,
mm-hmm.
or right? Like it at least is such a weird direction, but at the same time, like I have always made a point to like never want to be in a guild that does like compulsory spending either. Of like, all right, everyone must have relegate X character, because like that to me is like probably the game in like its worst possible
Yeah.
dynamic. Right? Is like you are literally just like paying a tax to even like stay in this guild. I don't know. That sounds god awful to me.
But it's interesting if you think about what Gom and you and I are talking about here, compare it to, I think, what Heathen and Darth Okudar, at least especially for a lot of Darth Okudar's community, the vast majority of the people playing the game really don't have to worry. I don't think, at least. I mean, you guys tell me what you think, but